Super Mario RPG. Question is, should you buy it for its full price tag? It's $60 price tag. In short, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. For $60, I think there's a lot of value in other places. Let's talk about it. The game's description: enter or revisit, because it is a remaster, remake, however you'd like to phrase it. Enter or revisit a world of whimsy with Mario on a quest to repair Star Road and defeat the troublemaking Smithy Gang. Team up with a party of unlikely allies like the monstrous Bowser and a mysterious doll named Gino in a story-rich RPG packed with laughs and quirky characters. Now, the description is accurate. The game does include all of those things, and it does it fine. But if you have $60 to pick up a new title, I would say go elsewhere, at least for now. Not because it's not well made, not because the nostalgia element isn't effective, but for $60, if you are an RPG fan, there are better RPGs on the market for that price tag. And I don't know if it's because I haven't picked up a Mario game in a long time, but what you're paying for, I think here, is not only a new title, but what you're also paying for is the Mario brand name. I finished Super Mario RPG in just over 10 hours. I did some of the side content, but focused primarily on the main story. My guess is if you played it in story mode and skip some of the side content, collectibles, which there are a ton of, you could probably finish this in closer to 8 to 10 hours. I was just over 10 hours. I did some of the side quests, but again, focused primarily on the main storyline. If you're playing on the hardest difficulty, it's probably going to be closer to that 10 to 13, 10 to 14 hour range, depending on how quickly you solve puzzles. Let's talk about the world. If you've played Mario games in the past, the world should feel familiar to you. There's bright colors, detailed, maybe rudimentary is the wrong way to say it, but it's detailed in its simplicity, as you would expect out of a Mario game. Now, as a remake, remaster, however you want to phrase it, so comparing the models to the original Super Nintendo version, it's beautiful in comparison. Cutscenes are beautifully animated, as you would expect from Nintendo and Square. It's a strange map with a lot of strange enemies, but it is whimsical and it's fun and it's nice to look at. Let's talk about the storyline. If you've played the original, the story should feel somewhat familiar to you. The oversimplified version of it: you need to collect stars, you need to repair Star Road, and defeat the Big Bad, aka the Smithy Gang. All the while, as with a traditional RPG, you're collecting companions along the way, fighting bigger and badder enemies as you also acquire new moves, new combinations, new items. It fits the RPG and Mario genres like a glove and was exactly what I was expecting. There's no shortage of characters in the game, be it characters you control, NPCs, enemies. Even if you've never picked up a Mario title, you will recognize some of the characters in the game because they're pulling a lot of that stuff from the Super Mario universe: Bowser, Peach, Mario. That said, where the heck is Luigi? Now, I asked some friends about where Luigi is, and they said there's a bit of a running joke in the Nintendo community that Luigi's just often not featured in titles like this. I found hilarious. So Luigi, unfortunately, is not a playable character, though I think re-releasing this game would have been a good chance to bring him in as a playable character for this title. I think it was a bit of a missed opportunity for Nintendo, but the running joke continues as he was absent from this title. So for the core mechanics, RPG style is the name of the game, as suggested by the title of the game. There is some platforming, which I found to be annoying at times. The way it's set up is it's like there's like a foreground and a background. So if it has blocks on the screen, it was hard. I felt it was difficult to line myself up exactly to where those blocks were. There's a foreground and a background, so you have to use the shadows on the ground a lot to gauge distances and whether you're lined up properly when jumping onto blocks or platforms or over obstacles. Now, it's probably easier on a D-pad. I was using the joystick on the Switch, and I just often didn't get it right. I never really mastered the platforming element of it. I never quite got it down. But Super Mario RPG doesn't punish you that much for making mistakes. Even though I missed some ledges, even though I jumped straight into the lava sometimes, it wasn't too punishing in the aftermath of those mistakes. The RPG elements should seem familiar. There's a top-down map which feeds into smaller sections which you can explore. Combat is turn-based combat, as you'll find with many RPGs. Select your move or an item, build combinations, and then eventually deploying your ultimate move, which is shared between the 3 characters that you have out in the field at the time. Well-timed blocks or attacks bonus those moves and helps build a gauge meter up to 100%, which enables your ultimate move. Now, the gauge meter does carry over from fight to fight, which I found as a very nice feature. Because combat doesn't last very long, you can engage in combat, you can time your attack and defense, build that gauge meter, and then carry that over into the next fight. So you don't want to waste your ultimate on some lower level minions, and rather you feel like you're about to come up to a boss, can save that gauge meter. There was a decent amount of flow of new items, new weapons that you could equip throughout the game. If you don't want to explore, look for secret treasure. Vendors do help you get new items along the way. It's not always going to be the best stuff, so it does pay to explore and try to find those hidden pieces of armor or those weapons. One thing I do like about Super Mario RPG, you do upgrade those items, specifically the weapons, not the armor itself. It does display those weapons in combat. So Mario picks up a big hammer. Big hammer will be the weapon that he uses in the next fight or until you change it out, which is something I can appreciate. So in that sense, Super Mario RPG is pretty cool. It does show all the different weapons and all the special moves. Everything feels tailor-made for those characters as well. It's cool to watch all his special moves and the weapons that he uses feel like a fit for the character. Bowser's not going to have the same types of weapons that Mario's going to use. They did a good job at keeping those custom weapons and armor designated to those characters. Let's talk about the content. There's a main storyline, main quest line, which we've gone over. But there are a lot of side stories. That said, to me, side content, the side missions, the collectibles, it kind of felt collecting for the sake of collecting. Didn't feel like these big, deep storylines. But it is a Mario title, so how deep the storylines can go, I'm not 100% sure. And I'm sorry if there's some Mario titles with super rich story. I just don't play a lot of them. Point is here, there's a lot to do options-wise. Main story, collecting, finding hidden treasure, little side quests or tasks that you can do. But it doesn't necessarily feel like it extends the game that much. A matter of, I would say, 3 to 5 hours of extras. Now, if you're trying to 100% it and find all the hidden treasures, that's going to take a while because it is everywhere. NPCs will offer hints of where to find secrets or offer items in return of collecting this or that. You're going to stumble upon the occasional side task, just helping a conductor write a new masterpiece using tadpoles that you jump on. It's a strange Mario game and a little bit of an odd game to begin with, but that's what makes it great. That's what makes it special. I think it's an important Mario title to have in the catalog. Now, from an RPG perspective, it is a short RPG. It's a short meal as compared to other ones in the market. The average about 10 hours to complete. Do the main story, do a little bit of the side stuff, and depending on the difficulty that you're playing on, you can finish it in about 1 week. Couple hours, 1 to 2 hours a day, you'd be able to finish it. Sound, nothing crazy here. They're well engineered with the music and the combat effects. Nothing over the top or noteworthy necessarily, but just solid. Everything is just really, really solid across the board. Nothing to scoff at. It's supposed to be silly and weird, and it does just that. Quality assurance, QA, no issues here. I ran it on the Switch, 0 crashes, 0 frame rate issues. No frame drop. Part of that, I do believe, is because of the graphics and that they're a bit simplified. For $60 and who made it, I would expect it to run smoothly, and it does. So, at the top of the video, we said it's not worth this $60 price tag. I have not changed my opinion at the end of this video. My opinion, I think nostalgia is the biggest selling point in this title, and it does its job. If you played the original and you loved it, and you have extra cash, and you like Mario titles, you're most likely going to be okay with the purchase of this game. Be it a gift for somebody else, it's super kid friendly. But if you are on the edge, haven't played the original, or you played it and you're like, yeah, that was okay, and you're a fan of RPGs, even if you have played the original and thought it was just okay, I would wait for the price to drop on this. In my opinion, I think that $40 to $45 range is a little more appropriate. You're paying a $60 price tag because of the Mario name. It will most likely not go on sale for a very, very long time. I know it just came out. Anyone can play it. Anyone can pick it up very, very easily. If you're not even sure that you like RPGs, but you want something to get into it, this is a great start, great place to land. Or if you're just a die-hard nostalgia fan and you love the original, if you loved the original and had fun and you want to take a trip down memory lane with a little modern twist, this is a good title and be worth the buy. If you are anything but those things, I would wait to pay for this. It's a solid game across the board. I had a lot of fun playing it. I wasn't necessarily upset or sad after finishing the title. As always, team, this is Ghost Stories Gaming. You can catch me on all things social at Ghost Stories Gaming, or look for Ghost Plays Games, and I will catch you guys on the next